Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your daily update for Bitcoin and XRP for Thursday 22nd of August. Very quickly, a reminder before I get into it, there are just 5 days to go before I have this presentation as part of the next FX Traders Edge Elliott Wave Hub forecasting event. Next Tuesday, August 27th, midday Eastern Standard Time, I'll be giving you some Elliott Wave analysis of Bitcoin, so if that's what you want, click on the link below and register now, don't miss out. I'll also be going over some research that I completed with Jordan Marshall last year. It's not been published yet, so I can't let you have the full research paper, but I can give you an idea of what we did and how I'm going to use that in Elliott Wave analysis, how you can use it when I've published it in your Elliott Wave analysis. So don't miss this event. Please register now, because if you're not registered, you won't be able to access it either at the time or delayed, and you won't get notification of the special offers I'll give you at the end of the presentation. Both Bitcoin and XRP pretty much moving sideways, and Bitcoin's had a little bit of upward movement. We'll look at what that means for the short-term structure in a moment, but let's take a big step back and look at the entire price history of both of these at the monthly time frame. Let's look at some technicals for Bitcoin. On this monthly time frame, I've got two moving averages. The pink line is the 12-month or 1-year moving average, and the green line is the 24-month 2-year moving average. When we have the pink line cross above the green line, following that, good things tend to happen. Pink line crosses above green line again. Following that, good things, in other words, new all-time highs, tends to happen. That happened again recently. The crossover happened in January this year. It was followed by good things happening. The 12-month 1-year average still remains above the 2-year average. They've both got a positive slope and prices above both. So on balance of probability, good things are more likely to happen than bad things. We still need to see price break above resistance that it's found about 73,100 for the last few months in order to have real confidence in that though. But the really big thing I want to really draw your attention to is the full price history of Bitcoin shows a series of higher highs and a series of higher lows. This is the last highest low within that pattern, 15,599.05. For the short term, at the weekly time frame, I've got 38,100 as the last highest low. That's within this last major upward trend from the November 2022 low. In order for this more short-term upward trend to be broken, you'd need to see that low broken. But for the very big picture, the secular bull market for Bitcoin, in order for your view to change from bullish to bearish, you'd need to see 15,599.05. That would have to be broken in order for that longer-term overall bullish picture for Bitcoin to change to bearish. That's my bottom line in the sand. If we see a new low below that point, for my own personal investments, I'd be deeply concerned, and I'd probably cash out for a loss on some of them and a profit on some other purchases. For now, I'm going to expect that this series of higher highs and higher lows is going to remain intact until proven otherwise. It's really normal in this huge secular bull market for Bitcoin to see bear markets. Here's a bear market here down to the low of November 2011. This is the first major bear market. It doesn't look like a huge drawdown on this scale because it's a semi-log scale, but when you view it on an arithmetic scale, here it is here, the first bullish run up to the first high in June 2011, followed by the first major bear market to the low in November 2011. You see this bullish run has this exponential growth, and the bear market is an absolutely huge crash in percentage terms. Here was that first bull market, first big crash, next huge bullish run up to the high in November 2013, absolutely huge crash to the low in February 2014, and depending on your data, January 2015. So another huge exponential growth and a massive crash. And then we see it again, this curved slow start, acceleration through the middle, explosion at the end to the high in December 2017, and then an absolutely massive crash down to the December or November 2018 low. A crash again of a huge amount in percentage terms, and a year-long bear market. And then you see another slow start, acceleration through the middle, Huge big pullback here, explosion at the end. So this was a little bit different, same, different. The high in October 2021, again, another exponential growth, followed by again a massive crash down to the November 2022 low, a huge bear market, a massive crash in percentage terms. And then the last all-time high in March 2024, another exponential growth, not as clear as previously, and we've had a deep pullback down to the August 2024 low. So when you view it on an arithmetic scale, you can see how Bitcoin behaves in terms of price distance traveled and how it has those exponential growth curves. I'm expecting most likely we're going to get new all-time highs sooner rather than later now. And one of the reasons for that is in recent months we see volume start to return to the market and strongly push price higher up to the high in March 2024. And for the short term, we're starting to see volume return to the market. The month of July 2024 shows an increase beyond the 2 prior months back to May. Volume is again starting to return to the market. This is bullish for Bitcoin. We can see how extreme ADX can give at the ends of these huge bullish runs. Back here in January 2014, it reached close to 80. Huge decline back up here. In December 2017, that high just below 20,000, ADX again reached very extreme. It didn't get as extreme in April 2021. Recently, it's technically very extreme, but as you can see, ADX can get much more extreme than this. Overall, the trend is declining from those previous extremes back in 2013. ADX is reaching lower levels as price makes higher highs. So that would be a slight piece of evidence for a more bearish case for Bitcoin, but it doesn't rule out new all-time highs. There's quite a nice channel with RSI. If you had expected that RSI had reached deeply overbought and there had to be a bear market crash back here in 2013, you would have been right. But if you'd expected back here, February 2017, that there was major bearish divergence between price and RSI when price was closing at 965.49, if you had expected a huge crash again there, you would have been wrong and you would have missed out on the extreme trend and further deep overbought RSI up to the high in December 2017, just below 20,000. So you've got to be a little bit careful with how RSI is behaving, and I've drawn this channel on here expecting that RSI is again going to get up to the resistance on this trend line. If it gets up there, I'll be considering the end of the next bullish run for Bitcoin, but not yet. If you were to again consider that there's bearish divergence here between price and RSI and expect a huge crash, you could again be wrong. You could have been wrong back here and you could again be wrong down here. Likewise, money flow has this big channel as well, and you could have again expected bearish divergence between these peaks here and here. In January 2017, if you'd done that, you would have missed out on that huge bullish run up to the December 2017 high just below 20,000. So I'm going to be looking for short-term bearish divergence between peaks, and I'm going to be looking for resistance at this upper edge of this channel. ATR has started to show an increase as price moves higher from the August 2023 low up to July 2024. Volatility and volume are starting to return to this market. This is bullish for Bitcoin for the big picture. For the very short term, price is continuing sideways within this pennant pattern. I've slightly adjusted the resistance line to sit across this high and this high for yesterday. I expect an upward breakout from this small pennant because pennants and flags are reliable continuation patterns, and using the measured rule from the flagpole from this low to this high, adding that distance to the breakout point, which I'm just going to take today, about the high of yesterday's candlestick, I'm now getting a target of about 75,365. That might be a little bit optimistic because we've got strong resistance, about 73,100. So I expect what this pennant pattern is telling us that we're probably going to get an upward breakout and then a quick run up to resistance about 73,100, where I expect a pullback before price might have the power to break above resistance. If price can close above 73,100 and then have a follow through with 2 or 3 green daily candlesticks up and away, that will filter out a false upward breakout from the rectangle pattern, and I'll expect the next big bullish run for Bitcoin is underway. While we don't have a breakout above resistance or below support, expect price to continue within this big consolidation, swinging from resistance to support, and back again. So up to resistance at the pink trend line in the first instance, 73,100 at the upper edge of resistance. When we get up there, we'll see how much strength or lack thereof is there in volume and range and any other technicals we can see, and I'll try and assess whether or not we're going to get an upward breakout. I think on balance of probability, it's more likely than not next time price approaches resistance, because this rectangle is now very mature. It will break out. I think it's more likely to be upward than downward, but it is also possible we could get a downward breakout from the rectangle. For my own investing purposes, I would be unhappy with that, but it wouldn't be a great concern and I wouldn't lose any sleep about it. If we get a breakout below the rectangle, I'll be expecting we get a deeper, more time-consuming pullback within that larger bullish secular market that I showed you on the monthly chart. If we do get a downward breakout below support followed by 2 red candlesticks below and away, I would then use the width of added or deducted from the breakout point to calculate a target for support for a deep time-consuming pullback. Shorter term bear markets have happened before in Bitcoin's price history. From the larger picture at the monthly time frame, that's not a great concern for me. I'm looking at the long term, 5 to 7 years of buy and hold strategy. For yesterday's upward session, it's really good to see an increase in volume pushing price high. If we can get a follow through today and we can get a higher close, I'll be expecting that's an upward breakout from the pennant pattern. If price can close above the upper edge of that little pattern on an upward session with push from volume, that would be an upward breakout. I would then use that target up to resistance 73,100 or possibly as high as 75,365. On balance, volume remains within a resistance and support zone. Widening, we may not get a signal because the trend lines are diverging, but so far no signal. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend at the very short term for Bitcoin. At the low for 5th of August, there was bullish divergence between price and RSI as price closed lower and RSI moved higher. There was also bullish divergence with price and money flow along with a volume spike on the low for 5th of August. That suggests that that low is somewhat likely to remain intact for the long term, that the pullback that we see on the monthly time frame at the 5th of August is fairly likely to be over, and that's why I'm expecting an upward breakout when price gets again to resistance, but I'll look for a little pullback before price is able to do that. Might not happen, but I think it's going to happen more likely than not. At the daily time frame for XRP, price has completed a really small range session for yesterday. The analysis remains the same. I'm still expecting a double zigzag for my mini wet wave 2, most likely to continue lower with a sharp wick below 55 cents to end sub-mini wet wave Y to end the double zigzag. 2 may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.4322. When the double zigzag is complete, I'm expecting a third wave up at 2 low degrees to find enough power to break above resistance at the upper edge of this channel. Now, it doesn't have to be a double zigzag. Y could complete as a flat or a triangle, and Minuet 2 could just move sideways, finding support about 0.55. I'm going to label it a double zigzag because the probability of that structure is actually higher than a flat correction, but a flat correction isn't too far off. Either way, I don't think the second wave correction is complete. I don't think we're ready to get an upward breakout and a strong upward move again yet for XRP. Technicals on the monthly for XRP. This is not obviously as clearly bullish as Bitcoin. It's been moving sideways ever since it found these last highs in 2017. We've got this huge sideways consolidation. Resistance at 1.965, support at 0.17. We need to see a breakout of this range in order to have confidence in the next big direction for XRP. Until then, it's just meandering. The short-term picture at the monthly time frame sees the 12-month 1-year moving average above the 2-year moving average. So overall, that looks a little bit bullish for the short term. Volume is also bullish for the short term, strongest on upward months. ADX also for XRP shows a waning trend, but the trend can get very extreme. The black ADX line can get above both DX lines and above 45. For this one, it can get up to about 60, so not as extreme as Bitcoin. At this time frame, ADX is now slightly increasing. It's above both DX lines, so the trend is extreme, but it's below 45, so it's not very extreme, and it's not as extreme as it can get. So at this time frame, ADX tells us XRP is now in an upward trend. Volume supports that view. This is bullish. RSI is neutral. There's a long, long way to go before this gets as extreme as it can get. Note at the all-time high for XRP, there was bearish divergence between price and RSI reached extremely overbought, quite close to 100. ATR does, just starting to show a little bit of an increase after quite a steady deep decline, a little bit of an increase in volume and an increase in volatility. This is bullish for XRP. For the short term at the daily, really nothing new to say here from what I said in my last video, so I'll go over this super quick. Resistance 62, support 55, quite strong. I expect that may very well hold. If it doesn't, we could get a sharp wick down to 46 before return back above. We need to see a break above resistance at 62 and above 0.675 to have, for the shorter term, a confident bullish picture for XRP, but this session of the 7th of August with a strong increase in range and volume is very bullish for XRP. Volume strongly pushing price higher for the short term as price moves sideways, volume declining, but the volume profile is bullish. Nice curve of an increase in volume here and a further increase here. Volume profile quite clearly bullish. On balance volume within a little range, no signal today, but keeping an eye on that range for you. ADX now really close to below 15. Actually really good to see this, setting itself up for a really strong signal which we may get next week. Oh, that will be quite exciting. Oh, I'll get quite excited about that. I'm quite excited about XRP. I think it's actually pretty bullish, this chart. RSI is neutral, money flow is neutral. As price moves sideways for the very short term, ATR is declining. ATR favours upward movement, volatility and volume returning to the market at both daily and monthly timeframes. With no clear trend, the model of stochastics plus support and resistance tells us to expect overall an upward swing for price to resistance and stochastics to overall continue higher to overbought, and when they get there simultaneously, depending on what ADX says, that could be the end of the upward swing. But if ADX says there's an upward trend, then I revert to a model of ADX, money flow and RSI. That's it from me today with your quick update. I hope you're all having a lovely day.